This lesson is for people who are progressive voters who want to influence left-leaning voters who might not be committed to voting. So we're going to discuss not only how to end the conversation, but some tips to remember as you're having the conversation. So as we discussed in other parts of this course, you always want to end on a positive note. So if they decide that they want to vote or want to take steps towards voting, you want to be happy about that. That's easy. And if they don't decide that, you don't want to express that you are mad at them or disappointed at them, and this conversation was a waste of time to you. You're trying to foster a connection and keep the door open for future conversations. So that's important to do. Now, a critical thing so the conversation doesn't break down or become a big waste of time is to not make the conversation success dependent upon your coming to the same analysis of larger systemic issues in society about democracy or racism or misogyny or whatever that is. That is not usually productive, because if they're unsophisticated, you're not likely to hammer that into their heads. And if they have a sophisticated analysis of that, and that's why they're not voting, you don't want to make the conversation success dependent upon you getting them out of that. That's probably a waste of time. But again, you want to ground the conversation in a sense of connectivity and storytelling, and not some sort of philosophical analysis. Some other tips from voting experts. There's something called the scarcity effect in influence. And so people want more of something they think is going away. So with all the voter suppression, it might be useful to drop in the conversation how there's voter suppression happening, and it's important to vote now while you can. That's important to do. That's useful to do that. A second tip, 60% of non-voters have never been asked by either a friend or by politicians to vote. So sometimes you can get people to make steps toward voting just by asking them to do it as a favor to you. That is not uncommon. You can find out whether somebody is registered to vote online. You can do that, and that might be something you do in the middle of your conversational exchange over a period of weeks or whatever, or before you start that, to find out that if you find out that they're not registered. A lot of non-voters are not registered. If you're in this kind of conversational exchange and you make a little bit of progress, they say, maybe I will go register, maybe I will vote. Tell them you'll follow up with them, because people who say this find that even the idea that you're going to follow up with them actually tends to change behavior. And if they express a commitment or desire to vote, help them make a concrete plan, because people who study voting behavior found that the people who have concrete plans are much more likely to vote than people who don't have concrete plans. And feel free, be willing to support their plan, either directly or through a nudge, phone call, text, etc., to help them follow through. Those kind of things are effective in moving people from maybe I'll vote to actually voting. If you like the content of this video, please press like or subscribe, because that helps the algorithm push it out to more people who might want to see it. Anything you do in support, whether it's a like or a subscribe or a share or even a small financial contribution to this self-funded project, is helpful in making sure we can continue this important work of spreading compassion for the sake of democracy.